What's going on, guys? Mickle here, and I have a very exciting video for you today. I have never been more confident that we know exactly what is going on behind the scenes in the Ripple SEC case. We have been watching this case extremely closely from an outside perspective, but we haven't been privy to a lot of the internal thoughts each of these parties have had over the course of this case. Fortunately for us, this most recent filing told us so much about both of these two party strategies going forward, and it is not what we expected at all. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a tweet thread that you cannot miss. I think it is the perfect summary of exactly what is going on in this case right now, what is happening behind the scenes, and how this thing is going to end. And let me tell you guys right now, you are going to love it. Guys, we also know that one of the fishiest parts about this entire case is the fact that it seems like behind the scenes, Ripple is getting more powerful than ever. Was this lawsuit just a smokescreen to distract this bullish news from the masses? I'm going to show you guys another instance of how integrated Ripple really is going to be in our future financial system. It's going to make you more confident than ever that the asset you hold is going to make a significant difference in transforming our financial system. Like always, guys, if you are new to this channel or come here all the time, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It goes such a long way in helping to support this channel and doesn't cost you anything. If you guys are looking for a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out the link in the description below. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. Alrighty guys, I want to start this video off with something that I have not talked about on this channel much at all. And that's crazy because I make so much content on Ripple and XRP. I think that just goes to show how much is really going on here, and we know there is so much more going on in the background that we don't even know about yet. I think once all this news hits the masses, we are going to see price appreciation for XRP we cannot even comprehend. So right here, out of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, what should the role of multilateral institutions be to promote CBDCs and safeguards for financial stability? And it's captioned New Forum of Digital Money. Well, I thought it was pretty interesting that they have Julia Chatterley on as the moderator. The reason for this is back in the day, before this Ripple SEC case started, Julia Chatterley used to interview Brad Garlinghouse and talk about Ripple and XRP all the time. If we take a look at what I tweeted out in response to this, I said, "Hey Julia Chatterley, are you allowed to talk about Ripple or XRP yet?" I have a feeling she won't be talking about Ripple and XRP again until this case is over. But I think it's so interesting that she's also going to be on a panel with the IMF, who also has heavy Ripple and XRP connections. And you might be wondering, where does that come from? Well, it comes from Brad Garlinghouse having been spotted in multiple high-level meetings with members of the IMF and other very powerful institutions having to do with the banking sector. Now, the most interesting part about this for me is a lot of these meetings were happening back in 2018 when Ripple's business model was much less established than it is now. Now Ripple is no doubt much more powerful of an organization, but I think it goes to show that Ripple has always been part of the plan for these extremely powerful organizations. Ripple was getting into these high-level meetings with the largest monetary funds in the entire world back when Ripple was considered a small startup. In my opinion, Ripple never really was a small startup. Ripple has always been part of such a larger plan to transform the financial system because of how uniquely disruptive their product is. And you might be thinking, who cares about the IMF? What does the IMF do? What could Ripple's role even be with working with the IMF? Well, from Jim Rickards himself, a very famous investor, he said that it doesn't necessarily mean XRP will be a reserve asset, but more likely an ESDR for the IMF. Now, this is a very profound statement from someone who is very involved in traditional markets, because most people involved in traditional markets would hear something like that and say that's just hype, that's just crazy speculation. But this is coming from a famous gold bug, Jim Rickards, who has an extremely professional following. And if we take a look at what the net worth of the SDR is, it is estimated to be around 970 billion or 1 trillion. And this in no doubt is an extremely low estimate. I would not be surprised if the SDR's value was more in the $5 to $10 trillion range. Well, what would XRP and Ripple's role be in revolutionizing this system? Well, the SDR currently is not transparent at all. When the US sends out SDRs, they have no idea what the money gets used for, and oftentimes it is estimated that most of it gets used for corrupt activities. Using XRP in the role of an ESDR would make it neutral and transparent. The money could be tracked, and the SDR itself wouldn't be associated with one country because XRP is a neutral bridge asset. Ripple's role would be helping the IMF use XRP as this ESTR. There's no way the IMF could figure this out on their own. At the end of the day, they're just a bunch of rich bankers. But when you have a software company like Ripple who understands XRP to the extent they do, then you have a financial transformation with how technology is used to revolutionize traditional assets. And that right there is why I look at this Ripple SEC case as nothing more than a show, a distraction, a smokescreen to prevent the masses from figuring out what is really being built behind the scenes. There is no doubt in my mind that this SEC case is a sham, and the best part about that is the gig is almost up. Now, guys, I want to cover what I believe is exactly what is going on right now in this Ripple SEC case. I saw this tweet thread this morning and couldn't believe how much it aligned with everything I've been thinking. I think this tweet thread is spot on and exactly what we are watching playing out right now and what will play out over the next couple weeks. You guys are really gonna like this. So this gem is from Rob Art, and I'm just gonna read this thing through and then we're gonna break it down and go over exactly what this means and what the implications are. SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. The Hinman emails are extremely damning to the SEC. They would rather end the lawsuit by any means rather than give them up. It would seem that a plan to quickly resolve the lawsuit has been agreed to. My thoughts of what occurred over the last week. April 11th, SEC loses DPP ruling. Gary, explicit. Ripple, end this now. SEC, only if our corruption stays hidden. Ripple, end discovery, do not contest that XRP is not a security at summary judgment. SEC, okay sweating. Deaton, I don't know what that means. April 13th, Fred withdraws his class action lawsuit against Hinman and Clayton. Fred, are we ready to go? Deaton, the SEC just got wrecked. Wait a few months and clear corruption evidence will be unveiled. Fred, perfect. I'll sit back for now. April 15th, the SEC ends discovery and later mentions that Ripple is prepared to proceed to summary judgment for if XRP is a security or not without the Hinman emails. SEC sweating, Ripple looking strong, Deaton looking like the cool guy, and Gary looking like a clown. The SEC has been pushed towards this end game with their actions. We should be thankful for their awful, deceptive strategies and the amazing judges we were blessed with. The XRP army is about to get what it deserves, justice. So what exactly does this mean? What is Rob Art telling us? Well, he is telling us that this entire time, Ripple was the party who has been refusing to settle. The SEC is terrified of what is in those Hinman emails. They will not hand those over at any cost. Ripple has been trying to pull those away from the SEC, but the SEC has been dragging out the case, delaying this as much as possible. Ripple has had enough. They want this thing over, and they know they can beat the SEC without those emails, so they cut a quasi-settlement, a deal behind the scenes. Ripple went to the SEC and said, hey, look, We won't make you hand over those emails, but we're going to go to summary judgment in May to end this thing once and for all, and you are not going to fight the fact that XRP is not a security. Your return is we won't go after the emails anymore, and we know this is exactly what happened because for the first time we see the SEC agreeing to an accelerated summary judgment schedule. There is only one reason they would agree to that, and that is because Ripple is refusing to settle this case. They want this ruling, XRP not being a security, etched into law. They want to create clarity for future projects, and the only way we get this clarity certain, etched into law, is with a summary judgment ruling. Ripple didn't come all this way to settle with the SEC. They are done with that game. They had an opportunity to settle this case before it even started, but they chose to fight it because they wanted this thing hashed out in the court. They don't want to ever have to deal with this thing again, and we are closer than ever to that being the case. Once this is set into stone, XRP without a doubt is going to be the only digital asset with certain clarity in the US financial market. So now you just have to ask yourself a question. Is this all a coincidence, or was this all a plan for something bigger? Are we watching Ripple being positioned to be a company to transform the US financial system? And was this all a show to help XRP get the status it needs for Ripple to be there? I'll let you guys think about that. I hope you guys have a good Easter. Thank you so much for watching this through. Your guys' support means so much to me. And for now, Mickle out.